Welcome everyone. We have a very interesting, very powerful build I want to show you guys. So before I say anything, let's have a look at the build. This is a small highlight. I have the whole entire replay of the dungeon to show you guys. It's back to the beta, guys. It feels great. This is the reason I want to play Barbarian. It's for the Thorns Barbarian. This is not an easy dungeon. So if you have a look closely, I'm currently level 72. I'm versing a dungeon that is level 79. So I'm not picking an easy dungeon for you guys. This is the Nightmare dungeon, which is pretty much really high level for me, but everything dies. So let's have a look what happens when I stand still. You know those annoying monsters? You know, one hit, they all die. This is actually so amazing. I'm back to the beta feeling, but I can build this build to level 100. What I want to do is I want to show you guys the skill tree and also my choices of the scopes. Did you guys see that? Let me go back to this part. When I was playing, I was like, what? There was a pack of elites. So this is the part, right? So here there was a pack of elites. Oh no, those are minions, right? Oh, there's one elite within the minions. And I just walked over and just disappeared. I was like, whoa. Yeah, it was so fun and so amazing to make this build, and a big thank you to Aka who actually shared me some of his rare items because I was out of items to be crafting, because this build actually took a lot of crafting materials. Now in case you're wondering, this is a boss fight, and I made one mistake over here, not sure if you guys can see. I was dodging the boss's attack. If I stood still, notice, let's have a look at what happened when the boss hits me. So this is the boss, right? I finally stood still, the boss hits me and it disappeared. So it took us like 3 seconds to kill the boss, and if I stop spinning so much, I can kill the boss even faster, right? So I have two ways of dealing damage. I can use my whirlwind, or I can stand still. Now, similar to all of our build videos, what I do is I have the entire stats of my choice of items, my stats, everything available for you guys at the end of the video for a replay. And let's go into the build, guys. It's really exciting and it's really fun. Now before we jump into the video, we have some general tips on the Thorns build over here. You cannot be getting protection shires, this will reduce your damage. You do not want to be dodging, and this means you don't get your Thorns damage. And finally, what I wasn't aware is, the Thorns damage is not counted as direct damage. I almost built some of the legendaries for direct damage, but luckily I saw this one. So this is actually one of the notes from Mobilitics. I was looking at this guide, not exactly following the build, but rather learning some of the concepts after getting my chest. And there were some really good concepts that I take use, and it's likely I'll be helping them to updating the Thorns build for the new meta. Now, similar to all of our build videos, I'll be working with Mobilitics and also provide you guys with a cheat sheet of the summary of the spells and also the abilities and also the choice of legendaries. So make sure you guys check the links below, and we'll be updating this build for you guys very soon. So coming over to my character over here, so you can notice I just cleared this dungeon I just showed you guys. This is the one I just cleared. So let's have a look. What we're gonna do is let's start with the items. The most central piece that made me want to go into investing all my resources, all my currency into this build is because today I just got this chest, Razor's Plate. This is the chest I wanted throughout the beta. This is the chest I wanted, for the end game, and I finally dropped it. Now notice that this chest is not the highest roll, it is a decent roll. I'm missing about 1,000 thorn, but it's over 11,000 thorn once I fully upgrade this one. And this is the chest. Now what I think is most important after finding this chest, I do believe you can still play the thorn build without the chest, but it won't be as amazing as, as butter, like the monster will melt like butter, right? So now that you had to look at the chest, I want to briefly go over to my skill tree choices and also my choices of paragons, because that is very important. And I do see a lot of different thorn build that is a little different to my one. Now coming over to my skill tree. So right away you guys can see a big difference. Most of the Thorns build I had a look on the internet, everyone goes for Flay. And everyone's going for Flay that increase Thorns damage, right? And I had a look, this gives us about 1,000 additional Thorn. But to be honest guys, this actually reduces our mobility. It is much better to go with Lunge Strike, especially when Lunge Strike provides us with Berserk. So for me, for fast mobility, and what you're gonna see in the replay is, I was moving super fast. I was like a bunny hopping. I was moving super fast, and this build doesn't feel slow at all. So it is very essential to make the build enjoyable for the players, instead of just, maxing out the thorn. I can be doing 1,000, 1,500 more damage, but I prefer to move super fast, and also to have the ability to go Berserk. Now for a build, our core damage will also come from Whirlwind. So this is when we have enemies that we cannot let them hit us. There are some summoners that just keep casting spells, and Whirlwind is really good for this. Whirlwind will also provide us with additional bleeding damage, which is really good. Our build will also go into Vulnerability, which allows us to do even more damage. So 3 points into this. Now coming over to the fun parts. Now this is something interesting I want to share with you guys. So yes, we'll be going with 3 points into maximum life for 15% maximum life. But notice that I'm actually not going to outburst again. I'm not being greedy on additional Thorn. The only thing you get after this perk is to get another 106 Thorn. That is it. I don't think it is worth it to use 1 skill point for 106 Thorn. Because if you look at my inventory, one of my gems will give me 250 Thorn. So it is not really worth it to go into a flat, non-scaling skill like this in endgame. Now over here, we'll go with 3 points into Toughest Nail. Of course, we want the percentage in Thorn for the 9%, and also additional bleeding damage is really good. Now I'll be going with a triple shot build. Now before the nerf of the Barbarian, this would have been so broken. Even after the nerf of Barbarians, with triple shot, we'll be reducing the cooldown of Challenging Shout, and this can go even further. I have so many ways to reduce my Challenging Shout's cooldown, and this allows me to deal more Thorns damage, and this will be incredible. So the difference over here compared to my previous build, everything is similar. We have Fury Gain, we have Fortify, but over here, instead of getting more Fury over here, we'll be getting more Thorn as maximum life. Now the passives for Shouts are pretty straightforward. 3 points into the extended duration, 1 point into healing, and also 3 points into damage reduction to enemies. Now if we come over to the next tree, the Weapon Mastery, I'll be going with 3 points into Pig Fighter, 3 points into additional critical strike chance, which allows us to even critical hit with Thorn as well. So this is really nice. Now if you find yourself to be a little weaker and also to be more durable, you can unperk this one into more defensive capacities. Now it is very important for us to have at least 1 point into Hamstring. Because we'll be dealing bleeding damage with Thorn and also bleeding damage with Whirlwind, having Hamstring means we benefit from having the benefit of bonus damage from slow enemies, and this is really good. Now coming over to the final trait, we'll be going with Wrath of Berserker because one of the legendaries also allows us to deal 4000 more Thorn with Wrath of Berserker. So we upgrade everything, and because we're going for a lot of critical chances with Whirlwind and also more chance with Thorn damage, we get the 15% critical chance damage. Now for our Thorn build, we're not going to focus on trying to crit with bleeding, but rather we're going to deal more damage with Whirlwind. So this is the alternative focus. Yes, I can deal a little more damage in terms of bleeding, but overall I do think I do a lot more damage if I focus on semi-hybrid Whirlwind build, and you guys get to see the replay. We deal really good damage with Whirlwind. Now over here, I happen to have 2 points that I can be sparing, so I did decide to go with Spending Fury give us more life gain. And this is the reason behind it. I'm not trying to go with more Fortified, and I have path away from this because we shot on legendaries. Now you can be going with those 2 points into somewhere over here for more healing as well, and you can be going over here for more Thorn if you wanted, or even damage reduction against elites. This is your choice. For me, I can even go with more movement speed. But as you guys are gonna see with my items now, my items which allows me to go even faster with those boots. Now coming back to a choice of legendary aspects, I'm sure you guys are pretty excited to see what I combined. So the first thing you want to notice is we have socket all the sockets for 250 Thorn, which give us 1250 more Thorn with 5 sockets that's available. So you really want to be socketing for those for more damage. Now the second thing is, if you don't have Razor's Plate, you can still deal damage. I believe you'll be dealing about 30% of the damage I'm dealing, because this particular chest is a majority boost of my Thorns damage. So it can still work, but once you find this chest, you can make this build very easy. Now other than the chest, my second unique item is going to be the gloves, and this one allows me to do more additional damage with Whirlwind, and this also provides me with 4 skill ranks to Whirlwind. Now of course guys, the lucky hit chance could be helping me as well with the procs of the Thorns damage to be dealt in 30% chance, so this could be really good. Now in case you guys are wondering how am I getting so many good uniques and where do you find it, check out previous videos and I'll be making new videos to be farming items. So the Helltide and also Legion event are the best ways to be getting those items. And I got my latest chest from the Legion event by using the countdown every 30 minutes, and that was really good. Now that we had a look at the unique items, let's have a look at the special weaponries. So for my main hand, my two-handed weapon, the mace, I'll be going with Whirlwind, providing with the additional critical strike, because we're still a Whirlwind damage build, and this allows me to do a lot of more critical chances with Whirlwind. Now for the second two-hand, for my two-handed sword, I'll be going with additional Thorn while berserking, which give us over 3,800, and which can be multiplied over 4,000 Thorn while berserking. Now this is one of the reasons I decided to go with Launch Strike, which also gives me 1.5 seconds when I cast this one when I critical strike to get berserking. And that's one with critical strike, right? And over here you can see that when we do War Cry, we also gain 4 seconds of berserking. Now that when you berserk, you become unstoppable, you deal more damage, you move super fast with his boots, and also you deal more damage with Thorn. Now, as for my next major offensive aspects, I'm going with the imprinted, so this one's from the dungeons. So here with the thorn damage, there's a 30% chance to deal damage AoE. And this is one of the biggest reasons you can see I can stand still. When one enemy hits me, everybody gets hit by the thorn damage. So our damage is kind of amplified multiple times. And this allows me to have about 30% every hit when enemy hits me. I'm not sure if the increased lucky hit chance actually helps with that. So this can easily roll over to 60%. I do not find this item that is normally. I'll be gambling for this item very soon, and eventually I craft this one to 60%. Now, because I want a higher chance, I went with Amulet. If it's crafted on one-hand weapon, it's only 20%. On the two-handed weapon, it will be doubled. I don't need that much rate, so I decided to go more offensive with the weapons, and then to go a bit of 1.5 times with the rate on the Amulet. Now, as for my two final piece of the offensive aspects, I'll be going with having a barrier with your 25% more damage. We can have this one on one of the two-handed weapons to deal 50% more damage, but I do feel like the other two we picked is more important. And finally, when we are berserking, we'll be dealing about 29% more damage in terms of bleeding damage with the Whirlwind, which allows us to really focus on targets that is not really hitting us. If they hit us, they die. Now, because we're going with the triple shot, if you guys haven't seen the previous Barbarian build, this is a transformation of the previous build. Because of this chest, everything changed. So for the two shots, I'm going with shot providing me with additional fury, and here we have the lowering shot cooldown. One of the reasons you want to go with multiple shot is that now challenging shot is defensive and also offensive. It can give you damage reduction, it can give you maximum life, it can give you additional thorns damage. So this spell is one of your core pieces of damage dealing and also defensive spell. And this means that whenever you can, you want to be lowering the cooldown of this spell. And you're going to see the Paragon levels, we go for that as well. Now coming over to my boots, you can see we have a nice about 18% movement speed and also crafted with Unstoppable. Now when we're Unstoppable, we'll gain more movement speed. So in the replay, what you're going to see is, you can see that I was moving a lot faster, and this is simply because I'm not really moving around and standing still. Yes, you got to see the full replay. When you see the full replay, you can see I'm moving a lot faster. What I noticed with my previous Thorns build and a lot of the common Thorns build is that everyone is trying to build on standing still, but here we want to be mobile. And this is one of the best ways I found to be playing the game and also, go fast and go speedy. Now for my pens, I'll be going with increase or getting yourself a barrier when we face elites. And this is one of the crafted ones from the, the common crafted one. And this is the combination. When we have a barrier, we'll be dealing more damage with 25% more damage. Now it is optional because I'll be going with a barrier build. I can change my launch strike into iron skin. And what that allows us to do is, we can also have additional way of being defensive, and this also gives us a barrier. So if I'm pushing for much higher levels, maybe level 80 or 90 with the Nightmare Dungeons, I may be doing this. I'll be testing this for you guys. Now finally, as my choice of my helmet, I'm going with the dealing damage to enemies will be gaining additional armor, up to 45%. One of the biggest reasons we're going to stack armor is that this particular chest actually gives us 1400 armor. And this is one of the biggest stats, right? This is the only stat. It gives armor, it gives thorn. So this way we have a lot more armor, and with more armor, we reduce physical damage, which is the major source of damage we take when we are physical and when we are when enemies are hitting us. So this is a big focus. You do want cooldown reduction on the helmet if you can, and also you want cooldown reduction on the amulet. I was out of gold, so I couldn't roll into that. And amulet is not bad though. It is not the best, it is pretty decent. Now briefly talk about my expertise choice. I am using a two-handed sword, which allows us to deal more bleeding damage. And here we have a two-handed mace for my launch strike, which allows me to deal which allows me to get more fury when I'm hitting enemies, and also allows me to deal more damage against, vulnerable enemies when I have berserk. The choice of technique will be for the two-hand axe, which allows us to deal more damage against vulnerable enemies. Now I forgot to talk about the Paragon, so let's come back over here. So the first Paragon of choice, what I recommend is, if you only have one Paragon, go for the one that reduces shot cooldown. So go for this one if you reduce your shot cooldown, and also go for this one, which also reduces shot cooldown. So if you only have one glyph, go for that one. But once you have multiple glyphs, you can go for the vulnerability, which allows you to do way more damage. And as for my second glyph, you can see we'll be reducing the shot cooldown. And finally, for my third glyph, we'll be having additional ways of reducing cooldowns, which allows us to have more shots and also has more damage with Thorn. Now you can notice I have perked into a lot of the blue perks for additional armor, and over here for additional damage reduction, and also I have perked into legendaries, which allows us to have more berserk duration and when we kill bleeding enemies, which is really good because we gain like 4000 thorn when we have berserk. And here you can see I perk into some of the defensive capacities. It's not that I don't want to path to the next Paragon board, it's that at the moment I do not have enough points to go to the next Paragon board. So while I'm waiting there, I'm happy to go with some bonus damage while I'm waiting, and eventually I can reset those to get to my next glyph. Now let's briefly talk about the skill rotations for this build. Normally I'll tell you guys the combos, right? But for this build, you just have to stand still and watch everything die around you. Yes, I love this part. And what you want to do is, if you face enemies that is, having trouble because they're not hitting you, just use Whirlwind to spin on them. Your biggest source of damage will come from Berserk plus your challenging shot. You don't have to cast both at the same time, just with challenging shot is enough most of the time. And this makes you super durable. And if you want to go all out, you can go with Berserk, challenging shot, and start to spin. Now, in terms of the Whirlwind, we do a really good damage with Whirlwind as well, so you have two ways of dealing damage. And finally, just a small tip, if you guys realize that you're doing damage with Whirlwind, and it turns out you're doing more damage when enemy hits you, stop spinning, just stand there. So notice what I did, I was like, wait, maybe I just stand here and just hit him, and he just died. I think he took multiple instances of damage for some reason with the mechanics, and I wish I can slow down. I don't even know how to slow down. So let's have a look. So here I'm just normal attacking, right? And the boss is gonna hit me. He took like 5 instances of 38,000 damage. So that deal like 200,000 damage in one punch. So I think the boss have a attack multiple times. Well, it's my luck, right? He died instantly. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4. So now coming over to our final part, and this is going to be the replay. I'll show you guys my choices of items and also stats. One of the biggest thing you want to notice with Thorn is that because we try to deal damage with Thorn, I try to have my weapon to not have core skill damage increase. So this way we'll have more universal damage, like critical damage, close damage, vulnerable damage, and also strength will amplify the Thorn's damage. So what I mean by that is, let's come over here. Oh, so many things to press. So let's come over here. If you have a look at Thorn, which is over here. So if you have a look at Thorn, Thorn's damage is amplified by strength. And this is why I try to roll onto strength for most of my gears. And this is a really good thing, right? So notice all my gears are pretty much try to roll on strength. And this allows us to do even more damage.
I must wait. not ready yet. I must wait. I must wait. I'm not ready yet. Ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Not ready yet.
Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.